everyone, in this video we're going to solve absolute value equations by graphing. So an absolute value equation in the form absolute value of ax plus b equals absolute value of cx plus d has two related linear equations, right? So if you want to review this, check out the video in the top right hand corner right now. So ax plus b is equal to cx plus d, right? So if we think about absolute value, what is inside the absolute values either has to be equal to each other, right? So think like absolute value of 2 is equal to the absolute value of 2, or the expressions have to be opposites of each other, right? So ax plus b equals the opposite, or negative, and then cx plus d in parentheses, right? So that would be like absolute value of 2 is equal to the absolute value of negative 2, which is still true, right? Okay, so we're going to solve an example by graphing, and then we'll check our work by solving just by solving the equation by showing our work, okay? So we're going to write our two equations, and basically we're going to solve two systems of equations, okay? Because remember, we could have two answers to an absolute value. So we're going to write our two equations. We're going to say x plus 3 is equal to 3x plus 1. So that's one of our equations that we could have. The other equation we could have, the left side is going to stay the same, but we're going to make the right side opposite, right? So x plus 3 is still x plus 3, but now we have the opposite of 3x plus 1. So now, just like we did in the video about solving linear equations by graphing, right? You can check that out in the top right-hand corner. We're going to take these two expressions, and we're going to write them as linear equations as set equal to y, so that we can graph them. So this one is going to be y equals x plus 3, and this is y equals 3x plus 1. Down here we will have y equals x plus 3, but over here we're going to distribute this negative, so we'll have y equals negative 3x minus 1. Okay, so let's graph the first equation, right? We'll call this number 1, and I'm going to graph y equals x plus 3. So positive 3, 1, 2, 3 for my y-intercept, and then just up 1, right 1, or down 1, left 1. So give me some points going there, and let's draw our line. Okay. Now the next equation is y equals 3x plus 1. So positive 1 for our y-intercept, and then up 1, 2, 3, and right 1, 1, 2, 3, and right 1, or down 1, 2, 3, and left 1. Okay, so we have our place of intersection here, and it is located at 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 4. But once again, remember, all we care about here is the x value. So we're just going to say x is equal to positive 1, and that's going to be one of our answers. Okay, so now let's graph this second equation down here, or these two equations. Our first one that we're going to look at is y equals x plus 3. Well, we've already graphed that one, right? So I'm just going to take away this second equation that we did, and we're going to graph y equals negative 3x minus 1. Okay, so we'll take that away for now. There we go. And now we're going to graph negative 1 y-intercept, and now we're going to go in negative 3 slope. So we could go up 1, 2, 3, and left 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, or we could go down 1, 2, 3, and right 1. So now we're going to draw our line through our points. Whoops, let's make that a straight line. There we go. And once again, we have our intersection. So this is negative 1, 2. But once again, we just want the x value. So let's say x is equal to negative 1. Okay, so we say, okay, our two solutions here are positive 1 and negative 1. All right, so how could we check our work by just solving the equation? So let's go back to the two equations that we had. Let's take away the two equations that we write so that we can graph it, and let's just solve what we see. Okay, so let's subtract x here. So we have 3 equals 2x plus 1. Let's subtract 1. 2 equals 2x. We divide by 2, and we get x equals 1, right? Which is what we had right there from our graph. Down here, the second equation, we have x plus 3 equals negative 3x minus 1 once we distribute that negative. And let's add 3x so that we can begin solving for x. We get 4x plus 3 equals negative 1. Let's subtract 3. I'll bring it over here. So we get 4x is equal to negative 4. And we divide by 4, and we get x equals negative 1, which is what we got for our second solution. So that is how you solve absolute value equations by graphing.